Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today we're getting into the new Maker's Mark Stewards release. But first, let's do a giveaway. All right, this is for 2-ounce samples of the smoky bourbon video I did a week ago. And the winner is BW 1776-X3Z. Email's in the description. All right, so we're gonna be talking about this new release that just came out in the beginning of 2026. And I'm gonna compare it to the last 3 releases to make a 4-way blind. When I was looking this up, I was seeing that there's actually 2 batches of this. So this is a 109.8 proof. There's one that's a little bit higher proof. I think it's, let me just look it up. 113.3. And they were about $75. This is the third of 5 second wood finish series, part of this, because obviously they did the other wood finishing series before this one with the letter stuff. And one of those is in here. So we have the Stewards, the 2025 Keepers release, 2024 Heart release, and the 2023 BEP. So this is what we're getting into today. Let's see how the Stewards release does in this blind. I did have it the other day at Whiskey Cigar Club. It was very unique, and that's why I was like, I gotta do another video of this and kind of compare it to its own stuff and kind of see if it's unique because it was against like other regular bourbons and ryes, not wheaters, or if it's even different versus its own wheater stuff. So let's find that out today. Let's get to the nose on A. Right, A, pretty good nose. I do like that. It's a typical bourbon-y notes. Bright cherry oak, sweet caramel, which a lot of these are common bourbon notes. I don't usually try to say caramel because it's so common, but when I get it a lot, I definitely write it down. And then anytime I'm drinking a wheater, I kind of specifically look for this wheat funk note. I did get a little bit of it, so I wrote slight wheat funk. So let's go to B. All right, so I went back and forth a little bit between A and B because B was much more muted on the nose than A. So I kind of did a little comparison there. Muted, oak, woody, dusty, slight nuttiness. The notes are different than A, but it wasn't that far different than A, but it was just way more muted. But going back to A on the nose, it kind of got a little bit of cinnamon-y notes. Let's go to C. C is very different. All right, so it's very fruit forward, but also bready, fruity, slight ethanol, which isn't my favorite note, like that grain alcohol. Butterscotch, buttered bread, banana bread. So basically buttered banana bread. I could have saved myself a bread over here on my sheet. I wouldn't say it's like the Brown-Forman banana note that most people get. This is more banana bread forward, but very buttery, fruity, but not dark fruit, red fruit. Almost like melon fruit, like that type of direction, like the melon, cantaloupe. Juicy fruit, the gum, maybe. I was actually thinking that in my head when I was writing fruity down. Let's go to D. Okay, probably my favorite nose, not the most complex, but just a darker, richer nose. Dark, rich, oak, dark fruits, sweet. So on the nose, that's probably my favorite, but C is probably the most different out of the 4. But I did like the nose on A as well. Let's get into the pouts. All right, first sip of the day. I say that because there was something a little off. I literally wrote something a little off on A. Cherry, oak, something a little off. Hazelnut, vanilla. On the finish, hazelnut, oak. I'm not sure if that note that I'm saying is a little off is more like the ethanol direction. I don't know. We'll see on the second sip because it's the first sip of the day, so it might just be that. Second sip, it was kind of still there, that weird astringent note. But overall, it's decent. It's solid, you know. It's not amazing, but for the $75 price point, it's decent for that. I did write medicinal cherry on the finish. It almost went in the direction of that chloroseptic note that I'm getting more recently, but it didn't give me that feeling of that medicine. One more sip. All right, that sip was definitely the best, that third sip. The cherries and oaks played well together. There is some roller coaster of a ride here in the palate and finish, but it's mainly those couple different notes. You can kind of pick them up as it's going. Decent. The third sip was definitely better than the first sip, and that's why, again, I always do 3 sips, because sometimes it does that. Let's go to B. That finish is that medicinal cherry again. On the palate, brighter, vibrant cherry, red Jolly Rancher, sweet, oak, wood, spice. Very cherry, sweet, oaky forward. Kind of like A, but more vibrant, where It's funny because the noses were opposite. The nose on B was muted compared to A, and now on the palates, it's vice versa, where B is way more vibrant in your face than A was. On the finish, wood, vanilla, cherry, medicinal cherry, just like on A, that kind of chloroseptic type medicinal note, it was the finish again on B. All right, second sip, very good. I really enjoyed the notes and flavors there. I didn't write anything new down, but I was getting kind of like a melony note, kind of like the nose on C, but I kind of want to confirm that on the third sip before I wrote it down. It was kind of there and quickly. All right, a couple new notes on the third sip. I wrote vanilla for the palate, but really would change, not change so much, but on the finish, I got this like, I almost want to write cinnamon raisin cookie, but I didn't get the raisin part. It was like a spicy cookie type thing. And it's like, it was quick, it was on the finish, but it was enough there where I was trying to figure out what type of cookie it was. Cool little note. I did like that. I did like that better than A. We'll see how it goes when I'm A-ing all these. But right now it's winning, not the first two. Let's go to C. Well, C is different. I want to say it's different in the best of ways. Ethanol, which is never a good note. To me, that just means it needs more age because it's not getting enough of the wood. We'll see how the second sip and third sip goes, but I got it on the nose too. Butter banana bread, vanilla fudge, fruits, so very similar to the nose. On the finish, wood, cherry, medicinal cherry again, which is crazy because I got them on all three of them, and some nuttiness. Now, second sip, coming off of itself, lot less ethanol-ness, more sweet honey on the palate, nothing new on the finish. Overall, pretty good, especially compared to the first sip. That first sip, not gonna lie to you, that ethanol note was pretty strong, but it was basically not there on the second sip. Coming off of itself, I don't know if you're just getting used to that, but coming off of something else, not the best. Third sip, pretty good. This is crazy how after a couple sips, how much better it can get coming off of itself. Tell me in the comments what you think about that, because I do basically a lot of blinds here. That's what I do. That's what I like to do. But coming off of something else, it wasn't even close to B. But I bet you if I went to B right now, which I will do this eventually, it might compete with B. So cherry on the palate this time, oak on the finish. Probably the most unique out of the first three so far. And if I don't get ethanol A being these at the end, I'm sure it'll win because it's complex and good. But the ethanol note definitely brings it down. But we'll see. Let's go to D. D is good. I like D a lot. Wood, spice, rich, oak, dark fruit, sweet. On the finish, dark fruit, sweet, oak, spice, vanilla. I didn't get that cherry medicinal note, which I got on the first three. I didn't get any cherry actually, and we'll see if I get it on the second or third sip. Overall, it's just a darker, richer experience than the first three. They all seem to be somewhat different from each other enough where, you know, if you're a Maker's Mark fan and you're buying these every year, I hope, like I am getting today, that you're finding enough differences to justify buying them every year. Because I buy them every year, obviously. I actually have, I think, all of the releases, but I think it's like 10 total, 8 or 10 total, and I didn't want to do an 8 or 10 way blind. If you guys want to see all of the Maker's Mark wood finishing series, I'm pretty sure I have all of them, maybe minus one. If you want to see that, I can do that. I just need to bring out some more glasses, I guess. And set aside like 3 hours to record that video. Let's go second sip on D. Okay, second sip, some strawberry Laffy Taffy on the palate. On the finish, it definitely gave me more of a toasted bourbon notes direction. Marshmallow, toasty. Still, I like this rich bourbony notes I'm getting on D. One more sip. All right, D, nothing new. That's just enjoyable. And I'm curious because I'm sure I did a video last year comparing some Maker's Mark wood finish releases. I'm curious on what I thought about them because I don't know off the top of my head. I definitely do not remember. Try to throw that on the screen for you guys so you guys can see if I'm anywhere near how I'm thinking about today. I'll take a break, drink some water, A/B these, and come back with some scores. All right, that was way more complicated than I thought it was gonna be. I kept going back and forth between A and C and B and D. I even took another break, came back to kind of do them again. Yeah, so that took a long time. Let's do the giveaway. If you wanna enter to win 2-ounce samples of all 4 of these, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with MM2026. All one word acronym thing. It's on the screen for you. All right, so battling for last place was the BEP from 2023 and the newest one, the 2026. And the reason, because going into the A being apart, the BEP was significantly lower than the rest of these, but that ethanol note kept popping up for me on the new Stewards Release. And if you've had the Stewards Release, please let me know if you're getting that ethanol note. I know it didn't do that well for the other people in my Whiskey Cigar Club the other day, but I actually scored it pretty well the other day. And I think just because it was just so different and unique, and that's what happens. And that's why I kind of want to do this video like right away to kind of compare it to other, you know, the same-ish bottles to kind of see if it was good because it was unique or if it was actually good. It did not do well today. It came in last place. So the newest release, I scored a 3.5. Is it the worst thing ever? No, not at all. It's decent. It's very different and unique than the rest of these, but that ethanol note was just too strong for me to really enjoy it. If I wasn't getting the ethanol note, which I didn't get it on the the second and third sip, that's why I scored it a lot higher than it ended up being, because it was pretty damn good, but that ethanol note really brought it down. So A came in third, this is the BEP, and I scored a 3.55, so obviously neck and neck in the scoring, but really the BEP went up and the Stewards Release went down, and that's kind of what happened there. And then the two releases from the past 2 years, the 24 and 25, going back and forth with those. And the winner, which was not the winner, I checked right before I did this, kind of see how it went. But I scored, what is it? The 2025, which came as second today. No, it won today. 3.85, which is the highest score I've ever given this bottle. So I went to go look, and as far as I can see real quickly, because I didn't look too hard, I scored a 3.5, a 3.25, and a 3. So kind of all over the place on this bottle. I would have to kind of see if it's progressively getting better with air, if that's how the scoring is. But today, the rich oak notes, it was just richer than the rest. I just enjoy this a lot better today. So 3.85, I scored the 2024 release, which is the Harsh release, a 3.7. Those two pretty good. Let me know if you've had the Stewards Release, how it kind of ranks with your Maker's Mark wood finishing series lineup. And if you want to see all of them reviewed, if I have them all anyways, tell me in the comments. Don't do stupid. And if you do, don't get caught. Bye.